Live, local, now. 13 News starts with breaking news.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Amanda Barron. We are continuing our coverage of breaking news with the very latest information about those two members of the West Virginia National Guard who were shot in what some are describing as an ambush attack this afternoon in our nation's capital. President Trump says both are critically wounded. The Metropolitan Police Department says the crime scene has been secured and a suspect who was also shot is in custody. We have team coverage for you tonight with local reaction throughout the region. 13 News reporter Delaney Wells is outside the governor's mansion. 13 News reporter Jackson Brzezinski will join us live from the National Guard base. But first, we're going to talk with retired Major General of the National Guard, Bill Crane. We thank you so much for joining us tonight, sir. And our thoughts and prayers are with you and your extended National Guard family tonight, because no doubt about it, you may have retired in February, but it's still very much a family.
It's absolutely a family, Amanda. And it's been a One Guard family for a very long time, and quite a sad day. And my thoughts and prayers go out to the family and to the service members, and I certainly hope that they can make a recovery. And I know that the whole of West Virginia is pouring out their heart and soul and prayers to those members and their families.
No doubt about it. There were about 6,500 members of the West Virginia National Guard. You don't have to be from West Virginia to be a member of the Guard, but sometimes people choose to be a part of the fabric of what the Mountain State has to offer in this capacity. Joining the Guard is certainly a calling, isn't it?
It's absolutely a calling. And in West Virginia in particular, with the values that we have in West Virginia, the reputation that we have, you're right, we have members from all over this country and all over the world that come in and join the West Virginia National Guard just because of that reputation. And again, couldn't be prouder of my time that I had to lead the organization, and I certainly keep continuing my prayers and want those service members to recover if humanly possible.
Yeah, of course, we've had some mixed communications tonight. Initially hearing that two people were shot, then learning they were from West Virginia, that one had passed away. Then we heard that both had passed away, and then we learned that perhaps that information was incorrect. And at this hour, we are waiting because we know that they are both critically wounded. And our thoughts and prayers are with everyone who is involved in this situation tonight. I want to ask you about the mission that they were on. Can you put in perspective for us, Major General Crane, were they working like in groups of people, like everybody from West Virginia was working in that particular spot about 2 blocks from the White House? I know you're not intimately familiar with it, but just based on your experience.
Yeah, from my historical experience, I mean, we try to keep the command structure in place. So you have teams and squads that go out and do these missions. So they work together. They watch out for one another. And, they're assigned a location. They're assigned times. Then they rotate folks through that location based on the time frames that they've set, based on the amount of manpower that they have available.
I also want to ask you about how you handle a situation and compartmentalize. We don't know at this moment who mitigated that threat, the man who is responsible for pulling the trigger. But what we do know is that somebody on the ground shot there. So at the same time, someone is working to take out a very violent threat and tend to their Guard family. How in that moment are you possibly trained to deal with all of that trauma?
Well, again, Amanda, all of our training we do it in a way that is as realistic as possible. So, this is stuff that we train for. We are certainly folks that run to the fire when something is going on, and we certainly look out for one another. That's the key thing. The biggest thing we do is we look out for each other. We always have a battle buddy, and when something happens or something's going on, we're there for each other. We're there to try to help and make sure that we're taking care of our fellow service members.
I love that battle buddy. I think that paints such a nice picture for us. What also can you tell us about the support that the Guard family has for each other? I know that during the shutdown, you and I talked about the fact that there is a foundation that was established, I think it was in 2017, to help Guard families through difficult times. And I wonder how that foundation will be leaned on during this time? Because we know, regardless of the outcome of today's tragic situation, we know that two families' lives are forever changed.
Yeah, the West Virginia Guard Foundation was set up a long time ago. It helps to provide financial support. And when Senator Justice was the governor, we were able to get a donation into our foundation to help shore it up. We also continue to get donations from across corporate donors, and it's just a great resource for our service members when they fall down on hard times. And the other resource that we have that I think is particularly in need right now is our chaplain corps. Our chaplain corps, they can help mentor and counsel and provide prayer during times of need like this, and they can help give leaders the sense of the organization and how our service members are doing. So right now I'm sure that the chaplains are out there doing their work to tend to the flock and make sure that they're in a good place and can continue to do the mission.
Yeah, you just think about everybody who is there tonight who's still working under really difficult circumstances, and we know that the president has authorized 500 more National Guard troops to step up to the plate. Oftentimes when a disaster strikes, when tragedy strikes, like September 11th, we see people who raise their hand and say, I'll be there. I'm going to be that person who volunteers. And I want to ask you, do you think members of our West Virginia National Guard will be raising their hand and saying, you know what, I'm ready to go despite the circumstances?
Yeah, I am absolutely certain, if asked, that other members of the West Virginia Guard would do that, and I'm sure all the surrounding states will have folks that are ready to step up to the plate and go assist in this mission. When tragedy hits, as you said, like in September, on September 11th, people raise their right hand and join the organization. People volunteer to go overseas and do the missions that needed done. And so I think this will be the same. You're going to see a lot of folks that are willing to step up to the plate and do this important work.
Well, retired Major General Bill Crane, formerly the West Virginia National Guard, but always a member of the National Guard in West Virginia. We appreciate your perspective today, and our thoughts and prayers are with you and everyone who is affected by this, because no doubt it is a very, very difficult day. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care. All right, we want to check in now with Jackson Brzezinski. He joins us from the National Guard base in Kanawha County. Jackson, a lot of waiting and watching and praying tonight.
Yeah, Amanda, you're right. I've been out here since about 4 o'clock since we received that news over in D.C. We traveled out here as fast as we could. And when that news happened in D.C., we spoke directly to a person one of the contacts that we have for the West Virginia National Guard. And they had told me immediately when I reached out to them that this is a very fresh situation. It's a very sad situation. And they are hoping and praying for the best for these two National Guardsmen. And they didn't want to give out names as well due to notifying next of kin of this situation. And as we know, Senator Capito, Governor Morrissey, and countless other lawmakers have reached out to the public and released statements that just basically informing the public about what their thoughts are on this situation. And it's important to note that General Jim Seward is also in D.C. for Thanksgiving. He's handing out meals to families and National Guardsmen as well. So that's why we weren't able to talk to him here today. And the National Guard here in West Virginia, we were supposed to actually interview somebody today, and that was supposed to be Jim Seward. He's not here. They're going to give us somebody else. But they were unfortunately not able to give us anyone to talk to tonight just because of the information and conflicting information that has been being spread earlier today. Governor Patrick Morrissey, as we all know, he has been updating us promptly as the situation had unfolded. He initially said these two National Guardsmen were dead, and then 20 minutes later, he said there was conflicting information for that as well. But just talking to people out here driving in and out of the complex, it's a very sad situation, and everyone is hoping and praying for the best for these two National Guardsmen.
Yeah, at this point, we can only hope that initial information was wrong and that the word that we're going to get is is that they were able to survive these critical injuries. Jackson, thank you so much. Let's check in with Delaney Wells. She joins us now live outside the governor's mansion. She's been there for a couple of hours now. Delaney, curious tonight to know the communication you've had with the governor and his team.
Yes, Amanda, I've talked to the governor's press secretary, who told me this, as of right now, the governor's plans are to continue updating the people of West Virginia on social media and through press releases. And as you and Jackson both said, the last we heard from the governor was about 3 hours ago when he gave a statement about the confusing information about the state of the Guardsmen. I did try to go into the state capitol a few hours ago to try to get any statements myself, but a few days ago, Governor Morrisey did give state employees a half day today to spend with their families for Thanksgiving, and this is just happening at a time when the holidays are starting, this terrible tragedy. But I have been outside of the governor's mansion for the past few hours trying to see if Governor Morrisey will come out. So far we have not, but we will let you know.
All right, Delaney Wells reporting in Charleston. Thank you so much. FBI Director Kash Patel also addressed the situation tonight. He vowed that this crime would be treated at the federal level. Here's more of what he had to say.
Since this is an assault on a federal law enforcement officer, this will be treated at the federal level as an assault on a federal law enforcement officer. The FBI will lead out on that mission with our interagency partners, to include the Department of Homeland Security, Secret Service, ATF, DEA. We will work together collaboratively because this is a matter of national security, because it's a matter of pride.
Secretary of War Pete Hegseth also addressing reporters discussing the situation and that plan to surge 500 more National Guard troops to a situation where there are already about 2,100 on the ground in Washington, D.C.
President Trump has asked me, and I will ask the Secretary of the Army, to the National Guard to add 500 additional troops, National Guardsmen, to Washington, D.C. This will only stiffen our resolve to ensure that we make Washington, D.C. safe and beautiful. The drop in crime has been historic. The increase in safety and security has been historic. But if criminals want to conduct things like this, violence against America's best, we will never back down.
The Metropolitan Police Department said the scene is secured, and we've been watching in live images all night of them collecting evidence there at the scene. And we do know that that suspect was taken to the hospital. They posted a critical incident alert on social media telling people to avoid the area with updates to come. As you might imagine, during this holiday season, many families taking the time to go explore the nation's capital and spend their Thanksgiving holiday there. We can tell you that the Assistant Chief Jeffrey Carroll described more about what witnesses saw during the shooting.
Suspect came around the corner, raised his arm with a firearm and discharged it at the National Guard members. The National Guard members, there were other members that were in the area. They were able to, after some back and forth, able to subdue the individual and bring him into custody.
All right, so that's what we know. The D.C. Mayor, Muriel Bowser, also discussed what she knows from that press conference, or from the incident today at that press conference, saying her thoughts and prayers are with the families of the Guardsmen.
I, too, want to send my thoughts and prayers to the families of the Guardsmen and to the Guardsmen who are in critical condition in a local hospital. And we join with the FBI Director in ensuring that MPD investigates, the U.S. Attorney prosecutes this case to the fullest extent of the law.
We will keep you updated throughout this broadcast if something changes, and of course, all night on WOWKTV.com. We're back in a minute.